What is up YouTube, and today we're going to be talking about the current Tariv Island Group Summon, or the triple limited summon that is currently happening on one banner, featuring Cerise, Ocean Breeze Luluka, and Lethe, 3 limited units, as well as 3 limited artifacts in Guiding Light, Soul Constellation, and Prayer of Solitude. Now this banner is a little bit different from other banners, right? If you look at like Pavel's banner, usually you get to 120 summons, and you get him for free, guaranteed on the next pull. With this banner, there is no pity. Instead, what happens is you actually get these coins for every summon you do. Because it is a triple banner, you'll see that if you look at the percentages, for Cerise, Lethe, and Ocean Breeze Luluka, it's going to be 0.333% each, with the artifacts being split as well. Whereas on Pavel's banner, it will just be 1%. So basically, the chance of getting a 5-star is still the same. It's just that you have a chance to get one of the 3. Now, because there's no pity, with every single summon you do, you'll actually get one of these coins. And with these coins, you can actually purchase units or the artifacts, and the artifacts are available one time. Also, if you scroll down, right, if you're going near the end of the event and you don't actually have summons, you can buy these things, but mostly you're going to want to pull in this banner if you can guarantee that you can actually buy some of the units or even the artifacts. Now, with this banner, we still have the artifacts available in the Powder of Knowledge shop, so you can also purchase them there. So basically you can buy 2 copies of the artifact, right, 1 for coins and then 1 for the Powder of Knowledge. Now, this banner is pretty simple, I'd say. I think all 3 of the artifacts are pretty good, and then 2 of the units are pretty good. The only thing you really don't want in this banner is Cerise. If you get Cerise, it's pretty unlucky. Even though she's limited, she's not really used anywhere. You can only really use her in one area of content for PvE, and that is going to be Dark Expedition. But besides that, like, you can't really use her anywhere else. She used to be a very good opener, but now she's just outsped, and honestly her skills just need to be buffed, or she needs to get an exclusive equipment, because right now she feels pretty lackluster. She kind of just gets outshined by Peyra in just so many ways. So because of that, you know, it kind of makes her pretty hard to use. Peyra is just a way better version of Cerise right now, especially if you like to play more aggressive. Now for the other 2 units, I think out of 2 of them, I think Ocean Breeze Luluka will be the better one. That is because she's a very good cleanser, right? She has a 2 debuff dispel from her S3, also has defense buff and ice cream buff, which makes her very, very annoying because it makes her teammates and herself very tanky. She also has the ability to cut enemy units that use non-attack skills, and she also can actually dispel 2 buffs from the enemy side and also inflict silence and decrease hit chance, which is very, very annoying as well. And of course her S1 will see our push one of her allies, so she makes for a very good defense team unit for Guild Wars. Also very good in World Arena as well if you need a cleanser, and she's very good at disrupting cleave. Right, if you pick her into like a Rand, the Rand can't actually S2, otherwise you'll get this off and you kind of just win. Just non-attack skills will be very, very hard to use into Ocean Breeze Luluka if you're playing aggressively. Very good unit, pairs very well with like Abyssal Euphine, also like Urban Shadow Shoe and like Ikarina, because they will be able to benefit from this defense buff and ice cream buff very, very well. And like I said, just a very good defense unit. Next we have Lethe. So Lethe, also PvP unit. Thing is, she's not really used as frequently. Mostly you'll pick her in Guild Wars offense only. You can't use her in defense because she's easy to counter. She gets countered by injuries, and basically what she does is she S3s, put Omen on everyone. Omen is going to be this unique debuff that will land every time you attack. And after that, once you get to 3 stacks, you'll just one-shot a unit that's squishy because you use Call of the Abyss from your S1. Very, very powerful unit for Guild Wars offense against slower teams. In RTA, you can also pick her if you're against slow teams as well. Just keep in mind you can't pick her into injury units because she gets completely destroyed by injury, because her damage will actually scale with her max HP, and the amount she heals will also scale with the enemy's max HP. I guess that doesn't really matter too much, but if you actually get injury on her, she actually can't kill units, and it kind of makes her kind of pointless. So you definitely want to pick her into non-injury teams. So out of the 3 units, I think Ocean Breeze Luluka is the best, then Lethe, and then Cerise. Now for the artifacts, this is where it gets a little bit more tricky. So the best artifact, I'd say by far, is going to be Guiding Light, just for pure power. This actually gives stealth at the start of battle and at the end of the caster's turn to rangers. It makes units such as Nogwol very good, Lua very good, just any ranger in general, like Briar Witch's area. Like you can see, I literally have, what, 4 copies. One of them's maxed. Another one has plus 21. I think this can go to plus 24 actually. I don't know why I haven't upgraded it. But I have 4 copies and they're all being used, and honestly I could probably use more. It's very good because it stops these rangers that usually like to open, such as Nogwol and Lua, and even sometimes like Briar Witch's area and I guess Astromancer Elena, even like Faithless Lidica, right, stuff like that, from getting countered by single target attackers, right? The stealth makes it so that you can't get single target attacked. It makes them a lot more bulkier because you just are getting into stealth a lot, which makes it so that not only can you not get single target attacked, but you take less damage from AoE when you're in stealth, if you guys didn't know. It's a very, very good artifact. It makes them very good into Zeo as well, because Zeo can't, push them back. This is the best artifact. However, the other two artifacts are still pretty good, and you might want them because we'll talk about that actually in a bit. But basically, Soul Constellation, good Soul Weaver artifact, gives you effect resist. Also, after an enemy uses non-attack skill, you'll get CR pushed. Good on Ocean Breeze Luca. You can use it on Moon Bunny Dominion. You can use this on Destina. You can use this on Rowana, right? There's a lot of units that can use this. The only thing is, Soul Weavers have very good artifacts already. This is probably the best one, Guardian Ice Crystals, so there's not really a point to use Soul Constellation over this. But if you want to surprise enemy teams, especially like aggressive teams with this, then you can actually put this on like a Destina or something like that, and then get pushed up and then S3 to cleanse your team of debuffs. Next we have Prayer of Solitude, very good warrior bruiser, like health scaling bruiser item or artifact for warriors, and that is because you get health percent, which is insane. It makes you do a lot more damage if you scale with health. And also you just get flat damage increase. So you get 10%, and if it's an extra attack, you get an extra 10% going up to 20. So it's very good on units such as Lethe herself, right? Because she can benefit with the extra attack from her S1. Probably the best user. Other good users can be like Shu, also Alencia, because they have built-in extra attacks, right? And also even like Apoc Ravi, even though she doesn't have an extra attack, still very good for her because it gives her a lot more health, which makes her do more damage and lasts longer in fights. And the 10% flat damage honestly is fine by itself. So yeah, this is what I think is worth going for on this banner, right? Obviously you can't choose what you summon for with your coins. It's what you want to purchase. I think for the first thing that you want is probably Ocean Breeze Luca and then Lethe. And then the artifacts, honestly, you can buy them with like Pattern Knowledge. And then if you really want more copies, what you can do is actually pull on this banner even more. Although I don't really recommend it for newer players. It's kind of like a whale banner, to be honest, and you're gonna see that when you play through the side story, it kind of feels like that as well. But yeah, this is the side story, and the reason why people are complaining right now is because, we have 2 of these limited artifacts, which you need to summon for to get extra currency. Honestly, if you don't get this to like +1, 2, or even 3, 4, it's not really worth spending all your energy on this event. Like for the Overlord collab, the event is very similar, but for the Overlord collab, they gave you that free artifact. And it's very important because, yeah, you need more rewards to get, these Sparkling Sea Sodas, or if you get Lethe's artifact, to get these soaps for the next week's event. And you can use this to actually exchange for Penetration Counter Set and Resist Set epic equipments this week. And you can see the gear is pretty much similar to the Overlord collab side story, where it's very good. It's always red. Like you can see these pieces are already amazing after just doing 2. So, kind of like a whale event because you do want as many of these as possible to actually, do this event. Now, honestly, if you don't get to max, you don't have to farm this event, right? You can just do like, however much farming you want to get the other rewards, because this will run again next year. As you guys can see, like I have my artifacts maxed out from this year and last year, so I actually took 2 years to max them both out. So that is also an option. You can just, pull for the units and the artifacts as much as you can right now, and not worry about the farming too much unless you want to, whale on the game as a new player and try to upgrade your gear as soon as you can. This will definitely run again next year, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Honestly, Smilegate might nerf it again because people are complaining already. I think they should because it's pretty hard. The artifact is another problem, but the main problem is the fact that there is a lead hero deploy effect. Now, if you look at the bottom left here, you'll see by having your lead hero, for this week it's Ocean Breeze Luca. I think for next week it'll be Lethe. You get extra attack, extra health, extra effectiveness, it's a ton of stats, and you'll decrease the boss's memory fragment level. This will basically make it so that the boss just does less damage and does less skills, which is pretty crazy. It makes it way, way easier. Also, you'll see that you do 120% extra damage and take less damage. So yeah, you can see, if I just have the base Ocean Breeze Luca, you still get the stats and you still, reduce the boss fragment by 1, but reducing the boss fragment by 3 makes it like 5 times easier, honestly. And of course, you get the 120% extra damage, which is more than double, and you take less damage. So it's a huge, huge difference. Even from SSS to SS, the difference is 40% extra damage, which is insane. And you can kind of see why people are starting to complain. Honestly, if you want to be able to do this very easily, you need to get this to at least A, which can be annoying. What I actually did for last year was I used my unknown slates to actually imprint my Luca. But, not everyone has access to them and not everyone wants to use them. So it's really up to you, right? If you really need a lot of this gear from this event, like from this, counter, penetration, effect resist set, maybe you do want to invest more into this event and then, try to get more copies of Ocean Breeze Luca and try to get more copies of her artifact. If not, you're fine just waiting for another event to run. If you want like different sets from Lethe's event, I think it's like Rage set, Destruction set, I think it's Lifesteal. then what you can do is actually just wait for Lethe's event to run next week and try to get more of these artifacts, more copies of her. It's going to be the same thing, but people are definitely complaining. I can kind of tell, or I can kind of see why. Like, this was super annoying last year when it first started. This year we have Overlord collab run, which had a lot of new players come, and now they're kind of hit with this event, so pretty hard to actually do anything. You don't have to farm this event. Yes, it is more efficient if you have, especially if you have the artifacts maxed out, but if not, you might as well just be farming hunts and progressing your account in different ways and just wait for this again next year to farm it for real gear, or just wait for another side story like this that doesn't have this many requirements that will most likely run in the future, or even wait for Rift as well. Rift is a PvE event that will rerun again for another like 4 months that will have you be able to get a lot of gear there as well. Rift is another very good option to farm gear. But yeah, just for this, banner, I think Ocean Breeze Luca and Lethe, you definitely want both of them at least. And then for the artifacts, really up to you. Guiding Light is the most used, but it doesn't help in the side story, so maybe just get one copy of it, and then if you pull multiple times in this banner, maybe go for Soul Constellation and also Prayer of Solitude. And while you're getting these coins, if you really want to farm like the Ocean Breeze Luca event and you're struggling, you can buy more copies of her to imprint her. She's a very good unit, so you can't really go wrong with imprinting her. It also will give her effect resist, I believe, and Lethe gets health. So the imprints on them are still pretty good. Like, it's not like you can't use them in PvP. The imprints will be useful later on, so you can think about that. Same with like limit breaking the artifacts. All these artifacts are used pretty often, so even though it feels bad that you have to limit break and memory imprint these things that you can get from the banner, just keep in mind you'll be able to use it even after the event, not just for PvE, but for PvP as well.